set?
Yep. Here.
Cool. Back in December, John Ness had given me a call. He said he had a customer, naval support activity up in Mechanicsburg. He said we might have an opportunity to move some power tools. So long story short, what we ended up doing is we set up a half-hour lunch and learn with the customer. We got some of their guys in. We kind of just showed them the full spread of the Milwaukee product. We also followed up with a little bit of hands-on. We took a half hour, did that lunch and learn. In 30 minutes, John sold more Milwaukee power tools than he has in his entire career with IPS. So these lunch and learns, it's a great tool. My name is Yanavitch. I am a plumbing and electrical territory rep with Milwaukee Tool. And today I just want to give you guys really a high-level view of our product, of the company. And then when we're out on the road together with these lunch and learns and seeing customers, we can really get into detail on the specific products. Feel free and stop me at any time if you have any questions. We can really dive into it. Milwaukee really built its reputation back in the day on the corded products. Right angle drills, sawzalls, hull hogs. A lot of those tools that plumbers still carry today. But where we're really moving now going forward is into the cordless technology. Since 2005, when we launched our lithium battery platform, that's when we really saw cordless tools explode, and the technology's come so far that we're able to lose the cord altogether on some products. So what I really want to focus on today is that cordless technology. We'll talk about the batteries, talk about the motors, and what really makes these products tick, and how that technology really sets Milwaukee apart from the competition. So the first thing I want to touch on is the battery technology. Back when cordless first started gaining popularity, late 80s, early 90s, folks were using a battery that looks like this. This is a NiCad battery. We really had two solutions back then. We had NiCad or nickel metal hydride. And I'm sure you've heard guys in the field talking about some of the issues they have with these batteries. NiCad, number one, it had a poor shelf life. If a guy had a tool sitting on his truck for a couple weeks, he would go to pull out the tool, a couple weeks down the road, and it would lose its charge. Before you charge the battery, you had to run it the full way dead, or else that battery would not charge up 100% the next time you went to charge it. Nickel metal hydride was a lot of the same. And you also notice with these batteries they're very heavy. They're like bricks. So as of about 2005, we switched to our lithium platform, and that's where you're going to see the new systems coming out. Does anyone know the number one thing that kills a power tool battery? Anyone? Yes. Charging it? It's actually dropping it. Yeah, it's simple, but dropping the batteries is the number one thing, whether you're up on a ladder or up on a lift. And that's why I want to pull a couple of these apart and show you the pack construction. This is a dual XRP battery. They still manufacture these today, and I'll pass this around, but what you notice with these is it's a hard plastic on the outside, it's a hard plastic on the inside, and then you look at the cells of the battery. All that holds that together is some cardboard and some adhesive. That's it. If you drop this battery and one of these cells bust loose, your battery's shot. Let's pass this around quick. I also pulled out, this is a Makita, this is a nickel metal hydride that we talked about. Kind of the same story as DeWalt. You'll see a hard plastic outside and inside. Now they did put a little bit of a pad on the bottom there to cushion the battery. And then what holds this together is a total of 12 spot welds on the top of that battery. And that brings us to the Milwaukee. This is out of our M18 system. This battery is a couple years old now, probably about 3-4 years old. But you'll see this in the new batteries too. What we did is a rubber overmold on the outside of the battery. On the inside, there's also a rubber pad that sits in there. And then you can see our cell package. It just looks more intelligent. What we did, you see this blue in between here. There's padding between every single cell. And there's a total of 8 spot welds on every single cell, which is holding that battery together. So you can see whenever we manufacture these batteries, we actually do drop tests at the factory. We drop them from 6 feet, from 8 feet, from 10 feet onto concrete to make sure they're going to hold up over time. And that lithium technology we're using now, some of those old problems we had with memory effect when charging, with shelf life, lithium really addresses those issues. These new lithium batteries, they're holding charge 4 times longer. So that means your customers, when they have a tool sitting in their truck for a couple weeks, when they pull it out, it's still going to have a charge. They're going to be good to go. They're not going to be wasting time running back to the charger and waiting for that battery to charge back up. These batteries are also going to take more cycles. An old NiCad battery, it might take 1,000 to 1,500 cycles. These new lithium batteries are taking 2,000 to 3,000 cycles. And a cycle is the number of times you can drain that battery and charge it back up. Memory effect does not exist. The new chargers that we have out, we can leave our batteries on the charger 24/7 and it acts like a trickle charge. It's almost like what you put on your lawnmower battery over the winter time. Keeps that battery fully charged. It will not damage the memory of that battery. One concern with lithium ion is cold weather. Lithium does not like cold weather. Typically it will die below 32 degrees. So especially like this past week when it was down below 0, if a contractor would go out to his truck and pull out the battery, he'd actually have to warm that battery up, pulling the trigger on the tool until it got warm enough to operate. Our new generation of lithium, we've been through 7 generations now since 2005. The new generation is called red lithium. It's just a different chemistry of lithium ion, but it's designed to work down to -4 degrees. And this is a big selling point on Milwaukee's batteries, because a lot of our contractors are leaving their batteries in their truck overnight, and it's just going to save them time in the morning from warming that battery up before they can use it or before they can charge it. So our red lithium will hold up much better. Like I said, down to -4, and also your extreme high temperatures. If you're up on a roof in the summertime, they'll work up to 120 degrees. You guys have any questions on batteries? Cool. So we talked about the battery technology. The second major thing that makes these cordless tools tick is going to be the motor. This is what we started out with in our cordless technology. This is called a can motor. These are becoming obsolete pretty quickly. You'll see these still used in some less expensive makes of power tools, but typically we just see these now in automotive and appliances. Can motors are going away because they're heavy and they also run very hot. You can see they're all sealed in. And these are filthy, so if you want to see them later, please come up and see them. I won't pass these around. After the can motors, we went to what's called an open frame motor. And how these work is on the inside here, this is called a field. There's actually 4 batteries in there. Milwaukee uses a 4-pole open frame motor, and it has magnets at north, south, east, and west. This is opposed to the 2-pole motors that you'll see in some of the competition. And why that's important with the Milwaukee motors, that motor makes a quarter turn every time it fires. So it just makes for a more efficient tool and allows us to pull a lot more runtime, a lot more power out of the tool. And the way these get powered is on the back here you'll see some copper. It's called a commutator. That's where your brushes contact the motor. And when you squeeze the trigger in these tools, you see some sparks and stuff going on in the back of it. That's actually parts of the brushes burning up and flying off. And that just powers the copper on the inside, creates a magnetic field, makes the motor turn. And we still use the 4-pole open frame motors today. It's a good solid motor. It's pretty efficient. But what we've done now is we went brushless. You're going to see more and more of our product going brushless as time goes on. We started out with our hammer drills, with our impact drivers. We recently expanded to our circ saws, our sawzalls, and our grinders. And these motors, if you can see, it's actually an exact opposite of those open frame motors. Your copper windings are now on the outside of the motor, and your fixed magnets are on the inside. So that allows us to altogether get rid of those brushes on the back, and we are able to pull about twice the runtime out of these motors. We're able to pull a lot more power, and there's no wearable parts in these motors, So we're getting about 10 times longer motor life. So that just means the customer with these new brushless tools, they can get more done, they can get it done faster, and they can eliminate some of those higher voltage tools out of their kit.
How do we know if a tool has that motor in it?
That's a good question. Question was, how do you know if the tool has that motor in it? If you look on the back here, this says Milwaukee Fuel. Whenever you see fuel on a Milwaukee product, that means it has a brushless motor, an upgraded battery, and upgraded electronics. And just to give you an example, right here, this is an 18-volt hammer drill driver. In the past, these were pulling about 450 inch-pounds of torque. We put that brushless motor in it, we doubled the runtime on it, and we jumped that torque up to 725 inch-pounds. That has as much power as our 28-volt hammer drill does. Any questions on the motors or the batteries? All right, cool. Next, I want to touch on some of our different cordless platforms. We have 3 platforms out there right now. We have M12, M18, and M28. 12-volt, 18-volt, and 28-volt. I'm going to start off by talking about the 12-volt platform. One thing that's really cool about the different platforms with Milwaukee, M12, we have over 60 tools that operate off the same battery. So what's that mean for the customer? It's going to save them money. It's also going to save them space in the truck. Because now instead of having 10 different tools with 10 different batteries, we're able to have a system where every single tool is operating off that same battery, that same charger. It kind of just standardizes the kit for us. Milwaukee is very heavily focused. Our core users are going to be the plumber, the electrician, and mechanical contractors. And moving forward, as new products start to come out, you're going to see a lot of these products geared towards our core users. And our goal is, in a lot of situations, to take an application that in the past you had to use a hand tool, is very labor intensive, and we're going to go cordless with it. So we're going to save them time, we're going to save them some sweat. That's not good. These are 2 perfect examples of those applications. This is a copper tubing cutter. This is an excellent service tool. In the past, the guys were pulling out their cutters. If you got into a tight spot like up in the rafters, you had to use those little ratchet cutters. Very labor intensive, and they're really kind of a pain in the butt. This allows the customer to very quickly go up and cut that copper. It takes about 12 seconds for a cut. But once again, it's just designed to save time, to save money. This is a PVC shear. In the past, the guys were either using a Sawzall. Problem with the Sawzall is it's tough to make a straight cut. It also leaves a very rough cut, so you got to deburr and clean off your PVC before you fit it. Or they were using those ratcheting cutters, which if you ever used one, can be really hard on the wrist and really a pain. The PVC shear takes that ratchet cutter and puts it cordless. So once again, it's just going to save time, and it's all going to be off that same battery platform. We were just talking about press technology. As of about a year and a half ago, Milwaukee actually launched its first line of press tools. It's called Force Logic. And these are designed to be used with most of the major makers of the press fittings. And the way these are an expensive tool. I mean, you're talking between $1,800 to $3,500 for a press tool. A lot of times you tell a contractor that and their eyes kind of get big and they grab their chest. The way we sell these things, it's all about saving time, saving labor. In the past when guys were sweating the pipes, you have to pull out the torch, you have to worry about burning down the house, you got to drain and dry the system. It becomes a long, drawn-out process. I talked to a guy in Philadelphia one time on a job. He was working on a high-rise building. It would have taken him about 4 or 5 hours to drain that system before you could even start to work on it. With this press technology, it doesn't matter if that system is pushing water, if it's dripping, if it's wet. You can make your cut, put your fitting on, and press it, and you're moving on. So if you imagine if there's a guy out there and say he's just doing water heaters all day long, if he's using press technology, he can now fit in another 2 or 3 jobs throughout the day. He can make more money, and these tools pay for themselves pretty quickly. One nice thing we did with this technology is on the trigger here, I'll throw a battery in later so you can check it out. You're going to see a fuel gauge. This tool will not start to make a press if it doesn't have enough battery to finish the press. And then also there's indicator lights on here. When you make a press, if you've got a good solid press, it's going to throw a green light. If you get a bad press, it'll actually throw you a red light, so you know right off the bat, you got to cut that fitting out and repress it. That's going to save our customers time from going back out to the job to fix a leak. This is a 12-volt tool. This is more of a service tool. This will do up to your 1¼ copper. So it's really about talking to the customer and qualifying them, figure out what size copper they're dealing with, what size pipes they're dealing with. That way we can position the correct product for them. 12-volt is up to 1¼ If they're doing anything bigger, we're stepping up to the 18-volt tool. You can see it's a bit heftier, but this is going to allow them to do up to a 4-inch press. And these types of tools, guys, like I said, they are expensive. If you have someone that's looking into press technology, give me a call. I'll bring the truck out to the job site and actually let the customer try it on the job. And the beautiful thing is when you sell these tools, then the customers come back and buy all the fittings from you too. That's just a very small sample of the 12-volt system. Like I said, that system has over 60 tools in it. When we're out on the road together, we can dive in. I can show you some other options. We'll be getting hooked up with some catalogs today as well. I do want to touch on a couple other 18-volt products. We talked about the press tool. This guy's brand new for us. We were talking about fuel and that brushless technology. This is the first brushless sawzall on the market. This came out back in, I think, mid-October. Talking about losing the cord altogether on tools going forward, this is a big step in that direction. This product actually has double the runtime of the previous generation. The big thing is more power than a 12-amp corded sawzall. That's the first time with a saw that we're able to get more power out of cordless. With your 18-volt system, talking about qualifying the customers, 12-volt is going to be designed for portability. It's going to be designed for some more trade-specific or smaller applications. Stepping up into 18-volt, it's more about performance. So if we got a guy that's going in and running a 2 9/16 saw feed bit all day long, we're not going to sell him on a 12-volt. We're going to bump him up to an 18-volt. If you guys have any questions on what tools are going to be good for what application, please give me a call and I can guide you in the right direction. The one system I don't have with me today is the 28-volt. With the new fuel technology, 28-volt is actually going to become obsolete. Now, when you come out with that brushless technology in 28-volt, it's going to be a monster of a tool. But if I got a guy that's looking at a hammer drill driver, he's torn between 28 and 18-volt. I'm probably going to push him towards that 18-volt because then I have 50 other tools that I can sell him on that platform. Whereas the 28 is more limited to about 18 products right now. Any questions on power tools, guys, on the cordless technology?
Will your 18 press tool press the value press fittings?
The 18 will, yes. It specs up the same. At this point, we cannot recommend it though. We're currently testing for that. Most competitors' jaws do fit on our tool. Like I said, it specs up the same. So can I tell you to go out and sell our tool for mega press at this point? No. Once all the testing and stuff is done, I will be letting you guys know what we're good to go on that. It is good for stainless though. Cool. Milwaukee isn't just power tools. We are also into accessories, into hand tools, and I want to show you guys a couple. Whenever we got into hand tools, I guess it was about 3 years ago, we really got into a hot and heavy. We have over 100 different SKUs in hand tools now. But what we didn't want to do is go out and just do a lick and stick, buy someone else's hand tool, paint it red and ship it out. So our engineers, they actually spend time out in the field with the end user and really just kind of sit back and watch what these guys are using their hand tools to. And that's where you're going to see a lot of innovation coming in with Milwaukee hand tools. Take the channel locks, for example. Channel locks is a very simple tool, but what we noticed, plumbers especially, they will use whatever's in their hand for a hammer. It doesn't matter what it is. Channel locks especially. So what we did actually is we went through, we reinforced the back of the head here to make a solid striking surface, and it's also a deburring head. When guys are cutting PVC, if they're using a Sawzall, they have to clean it up before they install it. So the back of this head is designed to deburr that PVC. And this is all about eliminating tools from the tool pouch. It's going to save you space. This is one of my favorite plumber's tools. I always saw, a level was a level. What we actually did with this is our plumber's level. You see this on the end here, it looks almost like a fan. That's actually for deburring PVC. You cut PVC, that's for your small diameters. When you get up into your larger diameters, you'll see ridges on here to clean up your PVC. And these guys, when they're working in the ground, they gotta level the pipe. You put a scoop here on the end for doing your fine tuning in your laying pipe. This is our PEX and PVC cutter. This is actually the #1 selling hand tool in the plumbing category. Something cool we did with it is now you can replace the blade. We sell replacement blades on it. We also designed it here when you squeeze your handle shut here in the front. That's designed for cutting PEX rings off. Talking about innovation and redesigning products from the ground up, we also have our line of accessories. We grabbed a self-feed bit here. I can't tell you how many self-feed bits, you go out and buy a new self-feed bit and you hit a nail the first hole in, take a chunk out of the blade and then it's shot. And these things aren't cheap, they're $29, $35. They're not cheap. So what we did for the user is we made what's called a switchblade. These are designed now that you can replace the tip and the blade on them. And we sell replacement blades. So what's really cool is, you sell a power tool, you sell an accessory along with it. Now you can sell an accessory to an accessory. But these are all about, a customer pays a little bit more up front for it, but it saves them money in the long run. Because now they're just buying blades, they're not buying a whole new self-feed bit. I also want to pull out our new Sawzall blades for you guys. We just went through what's called a double duty upgrade. We found that the two main points of failure on Sawzall blades, #1, you would snap the tang. #2, when you're cutting through, say, a pipe and you hit the wall on the other side, your blade would bend up and end up looking like a Z by the time you're done with it. So we actually stamped the tang on the Sawzall blades. And if you look close on these, it's like a honeycomb pattern on the blade. It's called gridiron. It makes the blade much more rigid, so when you're smacking into a wall or the backside of a pipe, that blade's not going to bend up as easy. It's going to allow our users to get up to 2 times the life out of their Sawzall blades when they're cutting. Any questions on hand tools or accessories, guys? Alright, cool. Last thing I want to talk about is service. You do all the work selling a power tool, we want to make sure our customers are taken care of. We have a couple options for service. Let's say you got a guy that comes in and his brush is overshot in his drill. He needs to get it taken care of. #1, we do have local service centers. You can go on MilwaukeeTool.com. You can type in your zip code. It pulls up all the service centers in the area. 2, we got a branch location out of Philadelphia, and this is really a good resource for us. They can do repairs there. And also, if we need a tool, you got a customer that comes in who needs a tool tomorrow, give me a call. If we have it in stock in Philadelphia, I'll have it to you tomorrow. They can handle those repairs as well. And we also now have what's called e-service. This allows customers to hop online and do their own repairs. So you hop on the Milwaukee website and go under e-service, and they type in their information, some info on the tool, and then it actually prints out a prepaid FedEx label. So you can slap it in a box, drop it at FedEx, and it takes about 2 days to get to our facility in Mississippi. Once we receive it, we have it back to the customer within 5 days. So that really makes it easy for our guys to get taken care of. You know, I'm also a resource for you guys, whether it's on sales calls, you know, counter days, but also if we have a customer that has an issue with the tool. I'm right out of Stewartstown, right below York, so I'm pretty local. If we have a guy that has a tool go down, he needs something tomorrow, I can lend him one out to get him taken care of. And that's all I have for you guys. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, sir.
Your gears and your tools, plastic or metal?
They're all metal. Gears and gear housing, all metal.
I hear that question. Some still have plastic gear.
Yeah.
Not yours, but competitors.
Yeah, there are some makes, less expensive makes that, you know, they still use plastic, but no, it's all metal. A lot of it's actually magnesium now. So a much stronger material, it's much lighter weight.
On the press tools, jaws are interchangeable with the rigid end, or?
Yeah, we have the two models, the 18 and the 12. Now you gotta ask, is it the compact or is it the big tool that they have? Because that's gonna determine what tool it fits up with. I can actually provide you guys with some cut sheets, because it will also work with like NIPCO and stuff.
Okay.
So I'll provide you guys with some cut sheets next time I'm through the office. I'll drop them off and we'll show you how exactly they match up.
I noticed some of your tools say long throw on some of the, like the press tools. What's the long throw mean?
Yeah, I actually just lied to you. We have 3 different press tools. Sorry. We have one 12 volt, we have two 18 volt. And what a throw is, this is a throw. This is just our standard 18 volt press tool. We have one that is called a long throw. That's going to be designed for your stainless steel. Just allows us to get more leverage out of the tool.
So do you need 2 different press tools, one for black phase, one for stainless steel?
Say again.
Do you need 2 different press tools for stainless steel and black, or is it still the same?
Well, right now with the Mega Press, like I said, it specs up the same. I cannot recommend it at this point. We're still testing for Mega Press. But when we're good to go on that, a lot of competitor jaws fit on the tool. Specs up the same, so you can just use one tool. Now, if they're getting into Mega Press, you're going to be wanting to look into the long throw, 18 volt.
Just want to go over I know you don't have to do the infrared gun, some of the advantages of.
The thermal imager.
Yeah, thermal imaging, yeah.
Yeah, Milwaukee's getting into thermal imaging now. You've seen in the past like Fleer and Fluke and all those guys have thermals. We currently have 1 camera on the market. We got a couple more coming this year. And thermal is all about you know, saving time and saving money. They are an expensive tool. They run about $2,500. In the grand scheme of things, that's not that bad. There's some cameras that start at $80,000. But they can be used for a variety of applications. I worked with a customer before. We were looking at radiant flooring. He had to determine the spacing of the radiant. It was already installed. So we're able to crank that system on high, take a look at it with the thermal, and see where exactly that radiant was and how it was spaced. You can use it for that. You can use, a lot of electricians are using thermals now to take a look at panels, because if there's a component going bad, let's say you got a lug nut loose, it's going to run hot. So it's all about you know, identifying problems that you can then further investigate. But the applications, there's a ton of them. That's one of the tools. If you have someone interested, please give me a call. You know, I'll bring out the thermal to the job site and have the walk the customer through how to use it. I had to spend a week out in Milwaukee getting certified for level 1 thermography. So I know a little bit about it. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting tool.
It's a good tool for checking steam traps too. We've done that already with some steam traps.
Yeah, that's really the only tool to check if a steam trap's good or not. I was in a factory out in Philadelphia, and they went through every year and they replaced, I think it was 15% of their steam traps every year, just because they knew they'd go bad at some point. They didn't know if they were replacing a bad trap or a good trap. This allows you to identify which traps are bad. Absolutely.
Okay. The only thing I like to say, as Nick said in the beginning, I worked with him one time. Guys, if you don't use Nick, you miss the love boat. You know, he did his thing, and at the very end, it's, okay, guys, let's go out and play. You get the tool in that guy's hand, it's sold.
It's by far the easiest way
And
to sell a tool.
Yeah, the nice part is, hey, your customer isn't gonna go to Granger with a piece of channel and open up a box. Nick has them, put them in the hand. It's a good deal.
Absolutely.
Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.